CaringCareersStartHere.com. Providing connections to the lives of aging Minnesotans by helping people discover careers in caregiving. More information at CaringCareersStartHere.com.
We've been proactive mostly because of him, I have to say. We sometimes think one is a caregiver, but I think you're caregivers of each other.
This bothers me a little bit, but I don't think we can do anything this. We didn't want, at least we didn't want to have what I've seen happen over the years, where something drastic has happened to the family, illness, a death, and part of the family is saying, well, we didn't know. Nobody told us. Well, we don't want that for our kids.
Hi, I'm Melissa Fritz, host of Inside Senior Living. As a senior living consultant during the COVID pandemic, and a daughter who lost her father to Alzheimer's dementia, my inspiration for this work comes from a deeply personal place. I've seen firsthand the challenges families face when navigating the complexities of aging. Over the years, I've dedicated myself to equipping older adults and their families with the information and resources they need to make the best decisions, whether that means receiving care in their own home or making a move to a senior living community. And as we all age, this need is only going to grow. That's why we're on a mission to spark conversations, support caregivers, provide valuable resources, and promote a more age-friendly world. Let's start by meeting Jean and Gary, a couple who embodies the love, resilience, and thoughtful planning that can guide us all through the aging process, especially with the support of family and friends.
Don't make me cry. We've been married for 62 years.
Pushing 63.
We didn't have any money, our honeymoon. We didn't have any money. We had saved about $100 between us. So we decided we were going to camp, tent camp.
She'd never done that
No, around Lake Superior. And I bought a flannel nightgown, and my mother said, oh, this marriage will never last. Well, you can't camp around Lake Superior.
In a negligee?
No, so she was sure it wouldn't last. I grew up in the era where women's choices were marriage, teacher, or nurse, period. The small college I went to, junior college that he was at, I went because I had a brother, a half-brother, a half-sister that went there and met their spouses. So I went up there and came out with Gary. We called it the shoe factory. Everything that went in came out in pairs.
My career started very, very early. When I was yet a kid, my dad was finding jobs for me. But it was actually in the 9th grade that a pastor in my church came to me and said, I think you should become a minister. And I said, you're nuts. You wouldn't know it as much as I talk sometimes, but I'm basically a shy person. Shy people don't go into the ministry. But I spent now, this coming June, it'll be 60 years since I was ordained. Spent much of my time in congregations with elderly, and became a passion for me.
Jean and Gary built a life rooted in faith and family. But on a trip to church camp, one of the family's most cherished places, a sudden accident changed everything.
Attending camp every year is something that we look forward to. They have a week of family camp, so it's not just for kids. And then last year, we were excited about having a whole week together. My daughter Maya is working at camp at this time, so we knew that it would be an opportunity to see her in action. And the first day of camp, we're all arriving, settling in, and we are sitting down to learn about camp, and we're going to be part of doing some skits together as families.
We were almost the last group to go up. There was just the age of 2 steps. I had a cane already at that time, and I got to the top of the stage, and everything was going fine. And my theory is I kicked the cane out from under me, and I went headlong and broke the hip.
When the camp incident first happened, I think we all kind of just thought it was part of like the skit because we were doing skits while it happened. And then I realized, oh, Grandpa's hurt.
I thought it okay. He seems fine right now, but I don't know. He's not being able to stand very good. When we got him into the chair, he looked like he was in a lot more pain than at the start. So I was starting to get worried, and when we had to get an ambulance, I was really going, oh gosh, not again.
Let me just provide you a demonstration, and then we're going to get up and do it afterwards, okay? So,
Gary, how was this transition care experience for you?
Well, the experience of being with the staff here was great. You know, Gene and I have been through a lot medically, and one of the things I always look for in a professional in the medical field is somebody who really cares, and that's what we found here, and we were really cared for. I was so fearful in this setting. I was afraid I wouldn't even get out of this place because of the broken hip and who's going to care for me. And of course, they made me get up and walk. So
They kind of pushed you, didn't they?
they did in a very good way, yeah.
how's that?
Kind of jiggly, yeah.
How do you feel your balance has been at home?
Not as good as I would want it to be. It's
Not quite where you want it to be?
No.
Okay. Do you still use the cane in the home?
part-time, but most of the time I'm walking without the cane between furniture. When I did fall and break my hip, I had to start over from square one or minus square one as far as getting back in shape. I wanted to be able to do things, and if I didn't do the physical therapy, I knew I wasn't going to be able to do the things that I want to do. No other person that sands.
He said when he can't be in the shop anymore, then we would move. That was our thought for moving into something else when he feels he can't do some of those things.
So my dad, for years, as long as I can remember, his love, his hobby has been wood.
My spark of woodworking began when I was quite young, just observing my dad, and I picked up a lot of things from that. So it's been a part of me for a long, long time. Up until just a few years ago, I pretty much could do everything myself. If I needed another set of hands, I would come and get her, and she would help me. Now I can't be out. Well, for one thing, she wouldn't let me be out in the shop by myself. Even in the shop, I use a walker to get around. If she weren't there, I couldn't continue that. And if I couldn't continue that, I don't know what I would be doing.
As a senior living consultant, I never imagined how difficult it would be dealing with my own aging parents. When my mom really started to struggle with caregiving, I encouraged her to reach out to the Senior Linkage Line. It's a free service offered by the Area Agency on Aging.
Our philosophy, Juniper's philosophy on preventing falls, it's one of the main tenets of our programming. And we know that that's a major issue for people. 1 in 3 older adults fall every year. In Minnesota alone, the healthcare costs related to falls is about $700 million. So it's very significant. What we try to do through our programming is help provide education on things people can do in their home environment to reduce the risk of a fall, things people can do when they're out in the community, just self-care things to be aware of, like the importance of foot care, vision care. The most important thing is definitely exercise and movement. All 4 of our programs have exercise components to them.
Gary and Jean have been very proactive in planning for their future.
To plan for where we are today, really, we started to do some things with this facility. For one thing, we have grab bars in all of the bathrooms. When I had this house built, I should say this is her special place, really. I had hoped to be on ground level, and we were thinking that way, and we thought it would work. We have a basement where we have a walkout, but the water table in this area was too high, and so we had to go up higher, and so we couldn't make it all level. And so one of the things that bothers me yet is the stairs that we have outside. We have thought of building a ramp. What I'm thinking of at this point is to have, maybe we can use part of this, but design it so that we could add a ramp later on if we need it.
Making changes to their home has helped Jean and Gary adapt to new challenges. But it's their strong support system that truly makes a difference in navigating this journey.
Our daughter, Carrie, lived in the cities, and we were in southern Minnesota as we were looking for where to retire. And we came up here, and all the people would always say to us where we lived, well, you're going up there to live by your children. No, one's out west and 2 are in the cities. So we came up here, and lo and behold, Carrie followed us a few months later.
I couldn't think of not being this close to him, a mile away, less than that, a 15-minute walk. It was a decision that was very easy. As soon as we decided to have children, we knew that they needed to be raised and supported by my parents. So we packed up and moved up here.
I think we had a close relationship with the grandchildren over the years. And we're fortunate, we have 2 of them very close right now, and they walk down the street a half mile just to see Grandma and Grandpa.
We don't have to go on a trip to see them. I can just go over there and say hi. My grandparents are almost like the friends, but even more than friends because they're family.
I love it when my grandparents share stories about when they were growing up and their childhood, and also my parents, my aunts and uncles' childhoods. It means a lot to me.
My parents are my biggest influence. We have been so close. Even though I've moved miles away, my mom has called me, or I have called her every night, and we have spent sometimes hours on the phone talking.
In addition to being Gary and Jean's only daughter, Carrie also works at a local community center that offers programming for older adults.
After college, I went and worked in a nursing home where my dad was as a chaplain for over a year, and that is kind of what pushed me to think about doing that in a more professional way. So I went back to grad school and got my master's in gerontology. And then just from there, that's primarily where I've worked for the last 20 years.
I have a fear that I might have overburdened Jean. Also, that I'm going to ask too much of Carrie. And we want to be very careful with that. Just because she's close, we don't feel that she has to carry fully the burden of our aging or our ailments or whatever.
It was never told that I had to take care of them. They would have never put that on me. But I'm happy to be here and be the support in any way that we can. And it's sometimes the little things like helping out with snow removal, giving Mom a drive somewhere, you know, helping out even sometimes things around their house once in a while. But it's mostly to be family together.
Staying connected is one of the most important ways seniors can thrive as they get older. Jean and Gary have a great support system, not only their family, but friends and community.
Where's their peaceful faces?
I told Dave peace would happen if he just did everything that I wanted him to.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, good luck. Good luck.
And then she told me not to say that.
So tell me about how this group went from basically a book group to becoming a support group.
Well, it started years ago under our pastor, and they were doing more, what do you want to say, deep theological books. And I heard about it, and I wanted to go, but my other half here, you know, well, I don't think I want to go. So it took us a few years to get involved, but then we got involved, and we did some very deep books. And then when you do those books, you start to share. So it evolved over the years.
We grieve together. We laugh all the time, which is fun. Everybody in there's got a great sense of humor. It's helped my husband and me. We're in there together.
I lost my mother during COVID, and I was at a very low time of my life. And Jean and Gary invited me to join this group, and I have started laughing again.
Surrounded by a supportive community, Jean and Gary find strength in numbers. But with Gary's health a pressing matter, they know the importance of being prepared and having open conversations about their future.
Right now, the biggest fear that I have is that I might fall again. The other fear is that I am going to become a burden to Jean. It really bothers me. I know she will be there. She's done things for me that I think she should have a nursing degree because, you know, experience, but I just don't want to linger and have her having to take care of me. Not that I would ever do anything drastic, but I just, I guess I love her so much. I don't want to hurt her.
It's been a long, long journey. Gary's challenges began after retirement, and not right away, but about 10 years ago. And they've been relatively major. He was discovered to have 2 cancers. We battled through those, and then he needed to care for the second one, which was a growth on his pancreas. Then they discovered another cancer after that one, after that surgery, and he battled that off and on. It's one that comes and goes. It comes out of love, really, I have to say that, and blessing. What Gary is, I know I've done a lot for him, and it's not always been easy. I look back on it, and I don't ever feel like it was a chore or anything. But another gift he's given me is that he works hard at being well, you know, not giving up. And I treasure that he hasn't given up either.
There's a lot of pride. Many caregivers feel that they should be able to do this work, and they're finding it hard to hand over the baton of care to someone else to be able to help them. It's a privacy issue. People coming into their home can be very daunting at first. I think too, a lot of people are not planning ahead, and that's a big part of what I want the caregivers to do, is to be ahead of the crisis and be able to plan ahead for financial, housing, legal affairs, their healthcare directives and where they're going to age in place is a big one.
Jean, Gary, tell me a little bit about your plans for the future.
Wow.
Yeah.
We'd love to be traveling, but that's a no-no, so we keep working here, I guess.
You want to age in place, right?
Yep.
Okay. So tell me your what-if plans. What if that doesn't work out the way you expected?
Realistically, and it would probably be me that would have the problems sooner than her. She's a rock of some kind. But we do have some plans to go in assisted living.
Okay.
And we also know that we don't want to become a burden to our kids.
Okay.
So we will make sure that we are taken care of by not only them, but by somebody else, if it comes to that.
It's a case of
Okay.
putting our name in, and
Okay.
when we feel, we let them know, and then they tell us if they have a space, or as soon as one comes up.
Okay. So we're going to go tour that community
Yes.
and take a look at it.
So tell me about yourself. What are you looking for? What are you not looking for?
We're looking for a place that when we can't be in our home any longer or feel that it's a little bit hard, that we would like to be in, yet not too far from our daughter.
Come on in. Over here, we have a full kitchen.
Well, that's the most important for me, is someplace to eat.
Oh, look. Oh, look.
So over here, we have the bedroom. If you want to come in.
So the person that usually they meet with first would be more of a sales and marketing person that's going to show them around and go through the amenities and the pricing. When there's a care component involved, I would highly recommend asking to also meet with the director of nursing and have that conversation about their loved one. Because once you've moved in or in there, that's going to be a very important piece, is actually the nursing staff, and then they're going to set up the care plan that's going to be then administered by the caregivers.
It's not our first choice to move. Our first choice is to remain here as long as we can, and as long as we're not a burden on the family, as long as we're not a burden on each other. One thing that we have done with our children is they're spread apart, of course, geographically, but when they come, and some might think this is a kind of morbid thing, but whenever they're all together during the summer vacations, we sit down and talk about where Jean and I are in our health, where we are financially. In fact, in a day or so, we're going to go with our son with power of attorney and lay out it. We've talked about it, but we want the financial planner to show exactly what we have and where we can go with that. So it's a continuous process. We're not there yet as far as all this planning, but I think we're a long way along the road. So.
When do you feel like the best time to start having those conversations with family or children would be?
I think starting those discussions might be, I don't know if it's early, but in the 50s, when we're 50, and, begin to introduce that, because if you're going to start talking when you're my age for the first time with your kids, I'm a feeble old man, and I think that's too late. They're not going to be fully prepared. But if they can journey with you for a number of years, I think it's going to be a lot easier for them.
With your thoughts, journey with you, that this is what we think we would do, and, how do you feel about it?
I'm always scared when he goes to the hospital that it's going to be the last time. In fact, he had the hard conversation with us. He had my brother fly home and my other brother come up here. He had all of us kids, even Maya and Eli. We sat down and he said, "This is getting really hard on me, these health challenges. I don't know if I want to fight anymore." That was hard to hear. And he said, "I just need you all to know that it is my decision when I choose not to fight. We don't, get to tell him that he can't.
And so there was one time when they came home and we talked about it, he could end up in the hospital and he could die. I mean, we left, we just tell you this could happen, and so we need to bring this out in the open. This isn't just a common cold or something, we're dealing with some issues that could be very serious.
And that was hard, but it was a good conversation. And I am so thankful that he continues to fight every single day.
What are the ways that you make sure you take care of yourself?
That's a hard one. The way I take care of myself is sometimes I don't.
I could never figure it out. As much as she loved me and I was going through all of this, I never saw her cry. And what I discovered, maybe even just recently, is she didn't want to cry because she wanted me to be strong as well. She was going to be strong. Well, that's changed over the last couple of years. I just have another diagnosis that there's a very good chance that the cancer, one of the cancers, has come back. And we've cried together now. It's a different dynamic. I think I have a message. I think we have a message that no matter how tough life is, that you can get through it.
Whether you're caring for a loved one or planning for your own future, take the time to explore your options, seek support, and make informed decisions. Join us next week as we meet Shirley, a 90-year-old who defies expectations with her vibrant lifestyle. We'll dive into her journey of staying active, the challenges of planning for the future, and the importance of multi-generational support.
Amen.
Production of Inside Senior Living is made possible by Eldermark Senior Living Software, Helmuth & Johnson, Lotus Pharmacy, and Kickernick Gallery.